I ruined my marriage and devastated my husband.
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started.
I ruined my marriage and devastated my husband. We have been together for nearly 10 years, married for 6, and I have fucked it all up. He has been working away for a couple of months, and we have been texting and calling, video and phone daily, before bed for me and in the morning for him. I thought I would surprise him when he got back with a small tattoo. I was talking to my best friend, and she has been on at me to get another one with her. I have a small butterfly on my back from years ago at uni, and I thought I could get something fun and sexy. She has a loads all over, kind of a random ones too. She looked up a few design and she wanted a deer skull with wings in between slash over the top of her boobs. It's not huge, but quite spread out. I thought it looked really cool, and I suggested we get matching ones. I have no fucking idea what I was thinking. I am a fucking idiot. My friend was up for it, so we booked in at a studio she usually goes to and had the outlines done first. About a week after, we saw the design planned out. Then, there was some sort of politics at the shop, and the artist quite was fired, so we couldn't go back straight away for the coloring and shading parts. So I decided to wait till that it was all settled to get it finished, as line work was nice on its own. That was all about a month ago, and it's healed. My husband came home on Friday, so I decided to welcome him home and show off my surprise. I spent the day getting myself in a really good meal ready. We ate and had some wine, and then I came onto him really hard. He was really up for it, and it was like when we first dated again. Butterflies and everything. We got into the bedroom and I started blowing him, and then he pulled me up and started to undo the lace knot of the high necked dress I was wearing. I turned around so he could get it, and as I turned back around to face him, letting it fall down, I was saying, I have a surprise for you. Trying to be sexy. And he just froze up. His face went cold and recoiled from me. Then said that he didn't feel well and ran to the bathroom. I knew he was really being sick. I could hear and smell it. So I thought it was something he ate. And when he came out of the bathroom, I was in a row by this point. He did a sad smile of someone who was sick and said he was sorry. He told me it might have been the airline food and then said he wanted to sleep, so we went to bed. When I woke up about 8 a.m., he was gone, with a note saying he needed to think and would be back by midday. I realized the food wasn't the reason he was ill and had a sinking feeling about a tattoo. But just texted to say I love him and would be home at midday. It was at this point I realized I hadn't given much thought to his opinion of tattoos, and that actually I didn't really know if he liked them. He had never mentioned mine one and had never said anything positive or negative, but he is not a rude person, usually about any tattoos. Whenever I mentioned them, I realized, no, he was always cool or disinterested about them, but I really never talked to him much about them. Most of my friends have few. Some have loads, some have neck and face tattoos, sleeves, etc. And I had been thinking about more for a while, but I only ever spoke to my friends about them. I know this is where I fucked up. Why didn't I mention I wanted more to him? He might not have told me all, but I should have picked up he didn't want me to get more at least. My husband came home and I could tell he had been crying. I sat with him at a table and waited for him to get it out. He said, "We need to divorce." I was stunned. I instantly thought he was about to confess cheating on me while he was working away. But he went on about how he hated tattoos, how he couldn't stand the one he already had, which explained why he would never do doggy style. It is odd how thoughts just lined up, and how he couldn't stand to see that monster on my chest every time I was naked. I started crying too. I thought this was all going to be fun and fun, but as he carried on, he started telling me about his abuse as a teenager. I don't want to go into it, but he was abused for a few years by a couple who were family friends, and both of them had tattoos. I had no idea. He had never mentioned it. Never treated my heavily tattooed friends poorly or acted oddly around them. He was just a good man. I told him I would have it removed, but he was insistent. It was impossible and I was marked forever. I started looking up tattoo removal prices and methods in a panic, but he said to not bother, to have fun with my friends, and to find myself a man covered with filthy fucking tattoos since I love them so much. He then asked which of my friends, male and female, I had showed my tattooed tits to, and called me a fucking slut. He walked out saying he was going to his mom's house. He said he would be in touch, but to not contact him until he contacted me. I have to respect the request. I know I am not a slut, but he was so angry and in pain. I don't feel hurt by that. I think he was speaking without thinking, just lashing out. His mom came around later on Saturday to pick up some things for him, and I asked her if he had said what was going on. She told me he had given her the basics, and she was sorry this was going on. I said I had no idea a tattoo would cause this problem, and I was going to get it removed as soon as possible. I had already booked an assessment at a local removal place for Monday, TMMW. And she told me she would pass that on when he was calm enough to take it then. She said the only time she had seen him like this was when he was 15 and came to her to tell her was being raped by her friends. I was crying again when she left. She was sorry she met me off again, but I told her it wasn't her fault. She is a lovely lady and has been a great mom to me for a decade. I have no family close by, and all my friends, including my best friend, are telling me to divorce him and find a man who, in my best friend's words, isn't a pathetic woman hating fuck up. She was my maid of honor. She went on to slag him off. For a while, I was crying, and I think she thought I was in agreement with her. She told me she always disliked him and thought he was a creepy for trying to get to know her years before. I had asked him to try harder to be her friend, and back then, she was always on about how much she wished he would be more friendly. I remember him saying when we got engaged and I had been gushing about how good it would be to have my best friend as maid of honor that he had tried and didn't know why she didn't like him. I put it off on my mind, but it popped up as she was lagging him off. She called him a few names, but what got me was when she mocked his abuse and said it was probably nothing anyway. I told her to fuck off. This was on Saturday night. She was shocked. I said I wanted support, not someone to abuse him some more, and she left. I have no one to talk to who cares. I don't want to divorce. I don't want tattoos. I just want him.